Yes, we do. Well, good afternoon and a very, very warm welcome to this Facebook Live again from CWA. That's Claudia with Arturo. But also our company name, it's called
Conscious World Agents.
Conscious World Agents. Very good.
Yeah, good afternoon, everyone.
Shall we say our names again?
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 No.
Okay, my name is Arturo.
Yes, and my name is Claudia, so great to be here with you again.
And probably, as you know, every week we have our Facebook Live session at 3 p.m. CET. And every month we have our guest speaker. But today it's just our weekly Facebook Live. And we had a busy week.
Yep.
We had a really, really busy week. And
Yep.
also the week before was pretty busy.
And the week before, very busy.
Yeah. But how can you stay calm in all these, well, let's say storm or at least distractions that we all have it on this planet? And what we think it starts with the day. That's the moment where you can determine how you will be the rest of the day. How do you think? What do you think about that?
Yeah, I think that's really appropriate because before we started today, someone asked me who actually has severe symptoms of burnout. I said, what would you like us to talk about? And she said, well, I'd really like you to sort of talk about the fact how when you wake up in the morning and your thoughts are really negative straight away, how do you change that? How do I do that? Because I can't seem to change them. So we thought that would be really good to use as a topic this week.
Yeah.
To see, what we find helpful. And would love to hear also what you find helpful. It seems that there's so much pressure coming from the outside world at the moment that people are really, really struggling. And for many, many situations, we won't have to go into detail about that. But really, some people find it very, very hard.
Yeah.
And they just wake up with a thought, or they dream about it, or they...
Yeah.
Before they go to sleep, they think about it. So how can you change that? So yeah, we thought that would be a good topic to talk about this week.
And of course, we all have our different issues in life. So we cannot compare the one situation with the other one. But what we can do is give you some, how do you say that? Tools that everybody can use.
Yeah.
Tools that can help you at least to start a day at a different level.
Yeah.
And if I hear how many people are really are already in the burnout or are heading against it, it makes me really sad.
Yeah.
And even it's also it's a huge group of young people between 25 and 35.
Yeah.
And for me, they're young, but that's the age where a lot of people get burned out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, and I think that's really a good bridge to our program that we will start tomorrow, the 4-Leaf Global program, and this is the last day for people to sign up if they want to join us.
Yeah.
Because we are all taught how to raise the level of our IQ,
Yeah.
but we are not really taught how to do that with our emotional intelligence or with our spiritual intelligence as such. So to find a meaningful life, we believe that the physical, the emotional, the intelligent and the spiritual intelligence need to be in balance. So that's one of the 4 leaves in our 4-leaf programs. Every leaf, like the physical and so forth, the emotion, they all have a leaf. And that, I think, is the foundation for our tools, how to cope with the stress of life. Because, that's, like you were saying, life is challenging. The Buddha even said life is suffering. But we would say right now it can be challenging, it's changing all the time, but how do you go about with that? How do you cope with severe stress? How do you cope with severe, of radical change, for example? So yeah, I think it's a great topic to talk about.
And if you're going to read books about it and all these kind of things, you follow teachers, basically, and that's also what they said thousands of years ago, it all starts with a thought. That's the basic thing that causes, well, let's say, the challenge or not, the suffering or not. And the challenge, of course, is the outside world a lot of times. But we make it more challenging than it really is. And I know it's not easy when you're sick, of course. But let's keep it more general in your life. How do you deal with, for instance, your own emotions? How do you deal with the emotions of the other person? And how do you deal with things that you apparently cannot change from the outside world? And if you stay in a reactive mode, then you're reacting on the first thought that you have. And immediately the feeling of frustration, being angry, sadness will drop in. And from that emotion, with this charge, you react to the outside world, to people, to situations. And what happens then, even the feeling afterwards, after the reaction, how do you feel then? Most of the times. Even worse.
Yeah, it starts to, you start to feel the effect of anger, for example, in your body. You could be shaking, or your heart rate is going like this, or if you be fearful, absolutely, you feel that in your body for sure.
So, first of all, is you need to get to be aware of that it starts there. It starts with your thought, because there are also I guarantee you, there were moments in your life that something happened and you could handle it pretty easy. How come? What did you do at that moment? What was the difference then than when you're now in more or less the same situation? So it's not about the situation, it's about how you act and react and how you feel in this situation. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I think definitely, and because people are put in so many stressful situations one after the other, they don't really get time to recover.
That's it.
So that parasympathetic system never gets time to kick in, never to slow down the body, to slow down the heart rate. The cortisol is all the time raging through our body. So I think it's very important that we learn that we become aware, like, oh my gosh, I'm reaching like the end of my tether here. It's like I need to slow down. I need to really go within myself and say, wow, I've maybe stretched myself a little bit too far, or I've been exposing myself too much to too much excitement around me, or too much stress. So what can I do to come back to my center? Because I feel that I'm becoming a bit edgy. When people are saying something to me or something, I get a little bit more fiery, or it's not my normal self. That are already signs that you're a little bit out of balance here. So, in the morning, I really like to, as you know, it's like really set the thought for the day. And we had a lovely thank you this week from someone who had heard in one of our talks that every time when we eat, or every time when we go to sleep, we make this kind of, it's not, perhaps it's a prayer, but it's more than a wish. And it's like, may this food help me to sustain myself, so I stay healthy, well-fed, the right nutrition, so I can only not just look well after myself, but also look after others. So may this rest that I have tonight really help me to get up in the morning and feel fresh and refreshed and recharged, so I can have a wonderful day and help many, many other beings. So she was like, oh my gosh, that so struck her. And then she was like, met someone in a meeting who was really a bit low in energy, and it really affected her because she was also a bit in a vulnerable space herself. Yeah. And then she thought about that, and she thought about what we'd said, how you could transform your thoughts into something that could not only benefit you but also others. And she's been practicing that all the time and sharing that with others. And she really found the benefit from that, and it's changed something. The neuro pathways sort of change more to like how can I be of more benefit rather than staying in the negative or in the lower frequency, which I would say, of energy that will also affect the rest of your day. So in the morning, I'd like to say, may this be a fantastic day, not just for myself but also for others. And what can I do if I'm feeling a bit low to raise my energy? Maybe I need to meditate a bit longer. Maybe I need to go for a walk in nature. Maybe I need to take some supplements. I love to do my pranayama, my breathing exercises. When my energy drops, then I really need to do my pranayama, and that really helps me to get me back into balance. So my question is for you then, when you feel low in the morning, what do you do on days, like you were saying before, on days when things were tough and things were challenging? What did you do to get up anyway and to do the things that were more helpful for you? What did you do? And just retrace that, go back to the past. I did that and did that. And what was the effect physically and so forth on you that has benefited you, that you could maybe apply again? Maybe it's something so simple. It could be like just reading a book. Maybe you haven't read a book for a very long time. Listening to a bit of music.
Being creative, starting to paint or playing the piano. It's these simple things that can help you. And one of the 4 agreements, maybe you read the book from Don Miguel Ruiz. The 4th agreement is do always your best. But your best today can be totally different than the best you're doing your best yesterday or tomorrow. Nice. So don't override, I need to do my best. No, what can you do? Yeah, and when you're almost in that situation of do I have a burnout or not, don't do too much. Listen to your body, take the recovery, but don't only lay on your bed. That's not the only thing you need to do, at least in my opinion. I'm not a doctor, but can you have a small structure in your daily life that can help you at least to raise the level of consciousness a little bit? Yeah. And for me, for instance, when I wake up and first before I go out of bed, I sit on my bed, and then and I say to myself, okay, straight up, take a deep breath. And today I feel good, and with this feeling good, I can help other people. And then it takes me 10 seconds.
And what if you wouldn't feel that good? For example, if somebody wakes up in the morning and feel really horrible, what would you say to them?
Well, what I would say is write down the thought that you have. What kind of actions what kind of behavior actions do you normally do then? How is your body language? And how do you feel when you have this thought, I don't feel well, and then this comes. Even only sitting like this has immediately effect on my feelings. Although I just do it like this. If I do this, open up my body and my heart, there's a different energy in my body. So, of course, we all have thoughts that are not always positive. Of course, we all have our bad days. But it starts with being aware of the first thought that you have. Okay, is this what I really want or not? And maybe you don't say, well, I don't want to feel good. Okay, I want to feel neutral. That's it. If that's the first step for you, then do it. Don't go on a scale from 1 to 10, from a 2 to a 10 right away, because that's not helping you.
And not realistic.
And not realistic for most people.
And probably not sustainable. So.
No. So do it step by step. don't think that your limitations are your boundaries, because the limitations are in your mind. Your boundaries, you don't know where your boundaries are really. If you change your limitations, if you change your belief system. That's why we say belief system is also BS. It's your bullshit.
Oh.
That's what I say at least. Because you believe it's true and you want to hang on it.
Yeah.
That's why I say, write down the thought. What kind of behavior do you show then, and what kind of feeling do you get? That's only the awareness about this is already helping you.
Nice. Yeah, very good. And so, yeah, I hope that was a bit helpful, that we talked about that. How can you change your first thought in the morning? And just do an experiment. As you know, I love experiments. So just experiment tomorrow morning when you wake up. Just check up. Some people are not even aware of their thoughts when they wake up. They just get up, go to the bathroom, make a cup of tea or coffee or whatever, and then they're not even aware what they're thinking. But if you go back now in your mind, what was your first thought this morning when you opened your eyes? What's the first thought that came to your mind? Often we can't even remember, so imagine how many thoughts you have during the day. But if you can go back to that first thought, okay, how does it affect me already in the day, up to now? And can I change it, or can I just observe it and just watch it and just do an experiment with it? But tomorrow, just when you wake up and say to yourself, okay, now I'm going to really pay attention to my first thought. Okay, this is what I'm thinking, and then just see what happens. And if you don't like it, if you don't like what's happening, then you don't have to judge that thought, but know that you have a capacity to become the master of your mind. That you can say, okay, that was the first thought, but what thought can I have instead that could help me to lift my energy a little bit today?
Yeah.
So I love that experiment. It's so easy, and it can lead to such wonderful experiences in your life. So, yeah.
Yeah, and if you do this, also take a deep breath through your nose and feel what's happening then with you also. And the more you do this, the more you will be aware of what's happening with you, the thoughts you have. And the moment you are more aware, there is also a choice. As soon as you're not aware, it's still at a subconscious level, then you don't have a choice, because then the automatic program runs.
Yeah.
But if you take the time, 5 to 10 seconds before you really step out of bed, do what Karya said, take a deep breath, and see what will happen within 1 or 2 weeks.
Yeah, I would love to hear that. Really love to hear that. And like I said, that lady, she really found that really helpful. So just felt like sharing that with you today. And also, I think what you mentioned there as well, take a breath. Take a couple of breaths and then breathe in your belly as well. Let your whole body fill up whatever your source of inspiration is. Breathe that energy and see that energy from that source of inspiration manifesting in an essence of white light or golden light or whatever you feel, and just feel when you breathe it in, that filling your whole body up. And just, if you want to take it a step further, you can visualize a whole golden bubble of light around you, that nothing that is from that high frequency can enter that bubble that day, unless you invite it. But nothing else, and you just emanate love from that bubble into the world. Just see what happens. Just see what happens, and see that golden light around you, because this can also help to prevent burnout, that you just feel that you connect with that energy inside you and keep your energy level high. So that is one thing that I really find helpful, and we talk about this in the Reiki training as well. Reiki training is about how to maintain your energy levels high. Yeah. And another experiment that my daughter and I did this week, it was quite fun to do actually. We just walked in the streets and we just noticed like how we felt. We're like, okay, we're a little bit like this. There was some heavy stuff going on. In any case, we said, let's go and smile. So we smiled. And I said, let's smile to others.
Yeah.
oh my gosh, it was such fun because we knew both who were doing it. Everybody was smiling back, and they were then smiling to their children, and it was like, it's incredible, you know, that.
It's the ripple effect. It's
It
enormous.
was so wonderful.
Yeah.
We were like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, we should do this the whole way that we walk through the street, you know.
Yeah.
And we did, and it was a wonderful experience. And not that we then want to see everything like, oh, it's all hunky dory.
No.
No, we just notice what it does to you, just what it does to you, and it might just give you that smile that you need that day.
Yeah.
So
Beautiful. Yeah, and probably, I think I already said it in an earlier Facebook Live session, but think about something that is a little bit distracted you now, that you feel a little bit frustration, or at least the tension you feel.
about it, yeah.
And do this for 10, 15 seconds and just be in it. And then smile, only smile.
Yeah, I love that one too.
And see what happens then. I don't say your problem is solved, but the way you look at the issue is different.
Yeah.
The way you will approach it will be totally different.
Yeah.
The energy in it will be different. And if you really understand that everything is energy, everything has a vibration, a frequency, you can imagine from going towards the challenge with a smile, with a higher level of energy, positivity, consciousness, then enter it with
Nice.
the heavy one. You already notice, you can feel it. All you can feel it. It will be different.
Yeah, and then neuroscience is showing that to us too now.
Yeah.
That if we smile, you know, it actually sends a signal to our brain and says, oh, something is good. And that straight away sends a hormone into our body that lifts us up.
Yeah.
So you wonder why so many people don't smile, but I can understand that you don't always want to smile, but just try it. Just try sometimes. Okay, let's do this. And do it with someone. When you do it together, it's much more fun.
Yeah.
Anyway, so if possible. And if you don't have somebody nearby, just phone somebody and do this online or whatever. Just, All right, so what else? What can we talk about?
Well, I think it's also one other tool that can help you is changing your focus. If you're staying focused on the issue and see how your behavior is, then how do you feel, and probably it will be with a lower energy. You don't feel well, and then just go to the other side of the room, see something, and just describe literally what you see. If it's the cupboard, describe the color, the form, everything that's on it. Notice what's happening then with you. And then go back to that issue again and see if there's something changed. And do that 2 or 3 times. When you feel this distraction again, okay, take a deep breath. Look at something else, maybe the lamp, and describe the lamp literally, what you see, the colors, the threads, and all this kind of thing. Go back. And at a certain moment you will notice that you will look different at the same issue. And that only takes you 4 to 5 minutes.
Okay, so that's another tip people could try.
Yeah.
Very nice. Well, thank you. And I just want to say thank you who's watching as well. It's always wonderful that you are with us. And if you can't watch this one, or you know people might benefit, know that we put it on YouTube always about a week after as well. So then you can share that link with them if you think, hey, there's someone I know who really might benefit from this. Spread the love. We just spread the love and know that we do this really from this place in our hearts. That we know we've been there, we sometimes still are. And we always say you have to do it ultimately alone, but you don't have to do it alone as with no one around you, you know. So it's really good that there's people around you that can help. So if you know someone who can benefit from this, or tag them in this post or share this post with them. We'd love to hear also what your experience is. If you feel like sharing that, that's also wonderful. Yeah, and we're looking forward to tomorrow. There's a few things we still need to do for that. Set up the room a little bit more and get some flowers and make the room look pretty. And
Print out the workbooks.
And if you do feel that you have been thinking about it and putting it off, then check in with your heart. Your heart will know the answer. If you need to be there, then call us, email us, message us, WhatsApp us, or whatever, and we'll see what we can do for you. It is an amazing year experience. We're so looking forward to it. Your life will be different afterwards. It will be, I think, more rich, more connection with yourself that you maybe didn't think was possible. So if you feel that's the call, let us know.
Yeah. Go to consciousworldagents.com and look at the 4-leaf clover program.
Yeah.
Long-lasting happiness.
Yes, and if you're not sure who we really are, or somebody directed you, pinpointed you towards us, look at our testimonials. You know, there's things on there that people who have said things, who worked with us. Just be there if you can. If your heart says yes, then we would love to meet you there as well. So next year we'll do another one, but this is what it is now.
So this is for people who will watch this video 2 months later.
Yeah.
This is for the 18th and 19th of September 2021. That's the one
that we start.
We started.
All right. Okay.
Anything else you would like to share?
No, I'm happy to leave it. I don't want to keep people too long. It's great that you've been here, and thank you. And thank you for sharing your wisdom. Mm-hmm. And look forward to seeing you all next week again. Have a wonderful weekend, and we'll keep you posted how we're getting on as well this weekend.
And have a wonderful weekend, and do at least 2 things that will make you happy or raise your energy level.
Absolutely. All right. Lots of love. Bye for now.